You've got communication with the employees. And again, we'd ask that you have your senior leader take on this task. Probably you're going to use small groups because of social distancing. You could use a Zoom call, perhaps, especially if you've got people in other offices that will need to know about this because there'll be an impact on the other locations. You want to make sure, however you do it, that everybody gets the same message. You want to talk about this confidentiality again of the affected workers. It's important. We need to respect the privacy of these folks. You want to provide assurances of the company's support and commitment to health and safety. Tell them about the sanitizing that you're going to be doing that's part of your plan should somebody test positive. Explain to them the importance of their support of the company guidelines. They should be washing their hands, wearing their mask, keeping social distancing, following the guidelines. During this meeting, you want to ask if there are any questions. You want to be honest with folks, be supportive, and be understanding. I want to tell you about the reactions you're going to get from this meeting. I've been involved in several situations with employee meetings, and let me tell you, there's a wide variety of reactions. Sometimes they don't come out at the meeting. Sometimes when the people go back to their workstations or their cubicles or their offices, they sit for a minute and then the eruption begins. And let me give you an example of some of the reactions that I have heard and seen in situations like this. Anger. How could that person do that to me? Don't they know how serious this could be? Blaming. You know, some people are coughing and you know what? They're not following the rules. I see people with masks off all the time. What are you going to do about this? Doubts. Are you sure it's okay to work here and come back to work tomorrow? Worry. What am I going to do? I got a family at home, and you know my grandma lives with us, and she's elderly, and she has a lot of health problems. Fear. I don't want to be at work, and I am going home. And they actually start picking up some of their purse or their personal possessions. They're leaving. Stress. Some people get physically ill. Some people shake, cry. You've always got people that yell and carry on. There's all kinds of outward signs of emotions that are going to happen. They're not going to happen all at once. Sometimes they're spotty. Sometimes one person will have a reaction and then that sparks the other ones to start venting outwardly. How are you going to handle these reactions? Because you still have work to do. Your business is open. You've just started going. You know, you've got to keep your production up. You got to keep your folks involved and engaged. We have a few suggestions for you. Some of these responses came from managers. There's a couple of them on here that actually came from employees. Some of them are suggestions from psychologists and doctors and et cetera. So I'll share some with you. Hear what they're saying. Listen, but actually hear what they're saying. Let them vent if it's a reasonable manner. If you got somebody that's going crazy, take them aside, calm them down, and deal with the situation. Give them one-on-one time with you. Someone might say, you know, I'd like to talk to you, but could we do it privately? Absolutely. Come on into my office. Don't ignore signs and watch body language, especially during the meeting. It's going to tell you which employees are having real problems with this situation, and you may need to give them special attention just from their body language and how they're reacting to the news. Ask for suggestions. Check in as often as possible. You might want to talk to the person who might have a pulse on the team. You know, there's always one person in your office or on teams, and people kind of gravitate to them, and they're the ones they crab to. And, you know, if they're unhappy about stuff or whatever, they won't come to you, but this person just seems to be the kind of person that people will gravitate to confide in. Check in with that person. Hey, how do you think the team's doing? Have you heard anything? Anybody coming to you, whatever? You want to send updates, either from you or maybe your leader wants to send out some updates once a week, things like that. Maybe updates about the business, updates about things that they've done or special sanitizing they've done or encouraging. You want to talk good news and give them something positive. After all, this is a pretty negative situation they're going through. So you want to keep them engaged, talk good news, give them some positive information. Hey, we've got you remember that big customer we had that we lost right before COVID? Well, he's back, that kind of stuff. Thank them for being there and thank them for their efforts. It's important to know that you appreciate them and you're glad they're there to work and you want to be there for them. Some other items that you might think about, maybe you want to put a little gift card at everybody's workstation. Maybe you want to have a box lunch for everyone one day. You can't have a potluck or anything like that, but what about a box lunch? Would that work? You might want to pay a bonus. You know, they've paid bonuses to health workers. If you wanted to think about doing something like that, maybe. And you want to give maybe a mental health day, mental health holiday. It's just a day, an extra day off for them, so to speak, where they can, you know, rest, relax, and think about things. Give them maybe 3 months to take it, something like that. If you have an employee assistance program, this can be invaluable for you. They have flyers, they have all kinds of information. They have sources and resources for employees to contact if they need assistance. They could also supply an on-site counselor if you felt that things had really gotten to a point where you might need something like that. If you've got someone who's really distraught, talking to them, trying to comfort them, it's just not working. They are really panicked over this whole situation. They're physically ill, maybe. You might want to suggest that they seek some medical help. Tell them to take a sick day and go see their doctor and talk it out with them. So hopefully some of these suggestions will be helpful to you. Depending on how your employees react, you always think, well, my employees, I know exactly how they're going to react. I don't have to worry about them. Let me tell you, a situation like this, when somebody in the office tests for COVID-19 virus, it's not the same employee that you knew before from when you see their reactions sometimes. So it's a delicate situation. You're not a doctor, you're not a psychologist, and we understand that, and you might need help too. Please call us, we're there to help you. So the employee's ready to come back, or employees if you've had more than one. You would think this would be a great day. However, sometimes employees, they get upset when the employee is coming back. They're fearful. Is this employee, are they really well? Is the virus really gone? Are they safe to come back in this office? Let your team know that the employee is returning, but prepare for this backlash. Talk it out with your team. Maybe it's only 1 or 2 people. Do some one-on-one with them. Remind them that they need to be respectful and understanding. How would they feel if it had happened to them? And how would they feel coming back to work and having those kinds of feelings, they're hit with them? You want to talk to the returning employee. Of course, you will be talking to them about when they're returning and et cetera, but you want to prepare them for reactions. You might say, hey, I just want to let you know that it was pretty tough when we made the announcement, and some of the folks were really scared and afraid and whatever. So be gentle with them when you come back. Some of them might kind of steer away from you from a little bit, but be understanding about it. You want to stay vigilant and be a good example when that employee comes back from being quarantined, or now that they're safe to come back from the tested positive situation. And when the employees see you being a good example when they come back, usually they'll feel more comfortable about it. So in closing, I'd like to remind you of a situation. It's one we've all had. We've all been on air flights, I assume. And when you get on there, when you're getting ready, you're going down you're taxiing down, the flight attendant's up in the front there, and she's giving you warnings about the information that you need to remember in case you're going to crash or there's an emergency on board. Oxygen masks are going to fall down. You need to make sure your belt is clipped on, that sort of thing. But do we really pay any attention to that anymore? I mean, we've heard it 100 times. So you kind of tune it out. And then all of a sudden, all the lights start flashing on the plane. You're getting a funny sensation of maybe falling. Hey, it looks like we're about to crash. Our goal today, and your goal, is to avoid such a crash. And hopefully we've helped you avoid a crash with the information we've provided to you today. If you want to learn more, we have a great website for you. Of course, you can always contact our founder and our confidant, Don Dressler. If you have questions, you could contact me or any of your HR consultants here at CalWork Safety. We're here for you. We will work with you as closely and give you everything you need if a situation like this occurs. I hope it doesn't, but believe me, you can get through it. Thank you.